makeup began to change. So Chapel Hill Harvester for a long time was a majority white congregation, and then as over the years, as the population changed, you have churches on the rise, like in that area. New Birth was the up and coming church in South DeKalb.
Yeah.
So so you got a big church and you got another big church here. So and so when you got ministers get big time like that, they start developing these partnerships. So I imagine probably something like that happened. But there's a plan for success that a lot of preachers follow. I'm saying success in quotes, where there's certain things that you have to do in order to build up your ministry. Like you gotta put a book out.
Yeah.
You gotta get a radio and TV presence.
Yeah.
You have there's certain things that you have to do strategically. You gotta build relationships with the right people.
Yeah.
This is what Creflo Dollar did. I mean, this is what these people have done. So I imagine, things began to develop that way. Then you got to get on TVN. That's the ultimate. Once you get on TVN, the checks start rolling in.
Oh yeah.
So that's pretty much what happened with Eddie Long. He was just in the right place at the right time. And that's
because he kind of came out of nowhere, really.
He did, and that. And just to kind of speak to the, just overall how these things happen, a lot of these big time preachers out here, they don't get to where they are just because they're so smart, or just because
or they preach good,
just because they preach good, or just because it's a lot. It doesn't have very much to do with them per se.
Exactly.
They happen to be in the right place at the right time, or they happen to look good.
Or they know how to raise money at those telethons.
They got a little something. So they hook up with, and they get in this partner. They always talk about these partners. You can be a partner with us. See, once you become a partner with one of these big-time ministries, all of those resources that they have become available to you. So the TV production, everything you need to get started. It's almost like how Motown or Disney
You're right.
They have a formula. They can They just
and all you
somebody.
have to do is sell out,
Yeah, exactly.
All you have to do is sell out, and then you can be a member of the club.
Yeah, they groom you. They do everything for you. So you don't have to do very much. It's almost like a turnkey. It's almost like like having a Burger King franchise.
Yeah.
All you got to do is pay enough money. Anybody can get a franchise. All you have to do is have $250,000, $500,000. You don't have to have and you can get a franchise. It's the same concept with these churches.
Yeah.
Whew, wow, that was a good run there.
Yeah, that was good. But I understand what you're saying, because I was kind of there myself, on my way, and I saw, wow, I'm not going to do that. I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not selling the gospel. No, I'm not doing it. And you can see, what happens to these people when they do start pimping themselves out and selling the gospel for fame and fortune. They just wind up losing everything. And it's like, I think it's in Proverbs, is it, or Ecclesiastes, where it says about your name. It's so important to have a good name. And then once your name is ruined, it's so hard to get it back. So you can see, like, this whole thing with Eddie Long, he's never going to get his reputation back. Never. Even if he's found guilty. Innocent, which he won't be. I believe there's something to, there's really something to the whole story.
Well, you said Ecclesiastes 7:1, a good name is better than a good ointment.
Yeah, that's it.
Or expensive perfume.
Yeah.
But see, a good name doesn't matter if you got enough money, because you can buy a good name back. I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
I mean, because it happens every day. All you do is do like Juanita Bynum did. You know, Juanita Bynum changed her name to Juanita Bynum II. See how easy it is? That's
no, I didn't know she changed it to Juanita Bynum II.
No, she did. So,
we haven't heard too much. There hasn't been too much lately, too much about Juanita since she separated from Tommy Weeks. But, you know, it seems like the Atlanta area is like a real hub for a lot of these false teachers.
Now, let me tell you about Atlanta. Atlanta is, well, let's talk about Atlanta is. Okay, look, I gotta talk racial politics again, because this is very key to what we're seeing. Atlanta, back in the day, and I'm talking about when I graduated from high school in 1984.
Okay.
And all of my peers at the time, and everybody, and young people from all over, everybody wanted to come to Atlanta. Atlanta was once referred to as the Black Mecca. And it was called the Black Mecca because of the what people perceived to be the opportunity for black people to succeed. You have the historically black colleges like Spelman, Morris Brown, Clark Atlanta University. You know, then you have the this is where Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was the home of Dr. King. So it's a lot of history there.
And his daughter actually attends Eddie Long's church.
And we're going to get to that too.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of people moving to Atlanta. In Atlanta, we had a very charismatic and popular mayor, Mayor Maynard Jackson, in the 70s. Yeah. He was a very progressive mayor, and black people were in politics, and so
and CNN is there too.
Exactly. So a lot of people wanted to move to Atlanta. So then you got ITC, which is Interdenominational Theological Center.
Oh.
Which I'm going to be talking about in a video later. It's a very liberal. Well, I wouldn't even want to talk about it right now. But but this is where Eddie Long got his Master of Divinity from.
Oh, well, now that's a story in itself. Yeah.
That's where Bernice King graduated, and I believe Dr. King himself. No, Dr. King didn't. But the point is, a lot of prominent black preachers. So first of all, you have a lot of black people coming to Atlanta seeking success. You have a lot of educated black people in Atlanta, and then a lot of theological seminary preachers who want to be professional preachers, who want to be in ministry.
Professional preachers, right.
You got ITC is here, so you got to come to Atlanta. You got to go to ITC or Morehouse, because that's where Dr. King went.
So that's where Dr. King went.
Right, exactly.
Morehouse. And now tell the people a little bit just briefly about Morehouse, because I think that's interesting, that whole connection.
In terms of
well, was it Morehouse at one time, or is it still liberal?
Morehouse College?
Yeah.
Really, it's ITC, really. But
okay.
Yeah, Morehouse is pretty much a liberal institution. Yeah, it's pretty much a liberal arts college.
Yeah.
For the most part. Yeah.
So now ITC stands for, what does it stand for again?
Interdenominational Theological Center.
Okay.
And now that's very key, because, as I mentioned, you have the professional black clergy. The headquarters of the Mecca for the professional black clergy is pretty much Atlanta because of ITC. So So when we talk about the prominence of false teachers, at least as it relates to false teachers who happen to be black, a lot of them are concentrated here in Atlanta because of, as I mentioned, because of the population, and because of all those other things that I mentioned that attract the people who are in the clergy, that attract them here, and partially because of ITC.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting because I never knew about ITC.
Also, TBN has a major, one of their major studios is in Atlanta, not very far from me, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So, and I live in specifically in Lithonia, Georgia, which is right next to Stone Mountain. I can see Stone Mountain.
Oh yeah.
From my house. So right around me, I have. So New Birth is near me. Paul Morton's church used to be near me. I had Earl Paul's church, some other churches. But now, that's on the east side, the sort of the southeastern side of Atlanta. On the west side, on the southwest side, that's Creflo Dollar's territory.
Yeah.
and I'm saying and I think they consider themselves sister churches. Now, Creflo Dollar doesn't have the same education. He didn't come from like the same educational and tradition that Eddie Long does.
No.
But
he's a Copeland, Hagen.
Right, exactly. But all of that stuff I said, that kind of TBN being here, the large concentration of black population, the ITC and the universities here. There are a lot of things that kind of contribute to to a lot of mega churches being here.
Yeah. I do see a caller, and I will take your call in a few minutes, caller, so just keep hanging on. Now, you're saying about this ITC, because I noticed that so many, the few times that I had heard Eddie Long preach, my opinion of him was I didn't even think the guy was born again. He didn't even sound, the way he preached, he didn't sound like a saved person. So basically this ITC college isn't really a place where people get saved.
Well, I'm sort of I don't want to overstate I guess the relevance of ITC in Eddie Long's background. I think the Eddie Long we see today, the preaching that we've seen over the past that's made him popular, that's been from the influence of Earl Paulk and the TBN crowd.
Right. More so the TBN crowd. Yeah.
Yes. So I would say that's what that's due to. But just to speak to ITC in general, the trend in seminaries and seminaries in general over the past few decades, they've been trending to be more liberal. And what we mean by that is that you have professors who outright are not born again. They don't believe in a real Christ. They approach the Bible from simply as a text, just like a text, just like a novel or some other piece of literature. Then they examine the Bible as a text. They don't view the Bible as the Word of God, as something that's something that has power, has life.
Right.
So and you have
textbook.
Right. So I think there's a seminary I read in the news recently where they were about to close. They had some financial trouble, so they came up with the idea of making this institution where we're going to train Muslim imams. We're going to do Buddhist